Hi, I'm Micki.
I'm Kat.
We are Cat and Mouse Astrology. Welcome to January of 2022. Woohoo! How are you feeling about this month, Kat?
I'm okay. It's been a super chill weekend. So I don't know. I'm hunkering down. It's that time of year for me to hunker down.
Yeah, it's hunker down time. I feel really hunkered down, of course, here in Kansas, in the Northern Hemisphere with snow on the ground. It seems like the right thing to do is to at least partially hibernate.
Right.
I could imagine being in other places and not wanting to hibernate so much, but
Yeah, if we were in the Southern Hemisphere, it'd be
exactly. Might be running around in the summer sun.
different. Yeah.
But yeah, we got an interesting year coming up. We got this weird Venus thing that we're going through, 40 days and 40 nights of Venus retrograde. And Venus doesn't come out of retrograde till March. Is that right? Or is it the end of, I have to double check now. Now I'm gonna feel stupid. Sorry.
I think March is when she finishes her shadow period.
Right. I think
She'll go direct fairly soon, but
right. And March is when we get the final Venus-Pluto conjunction.
right.
So we're really in a long time period with Venus going back over everything that happened in Capricorn. And that was our 2020.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it because it feels like, Saturn is cold and dry and maybe unfeeling Saturn is the disciplinarian. Saturn is the schoolmaster, the lesson. And to have Venus going back over that harsh area, that really miserable, area that was for most people 2020, it feels like it might be a kind of a healing thing, adding love to a place that was really void of positive emotions.
Yeah, like a balm.
Yeah.
Or a salve.
A salve.
Just like keep putting back on over days and days till it's all healed up.
Right. And with Pluto there, we've talked a lot about Pluto being that deep wound. And we've also, not just you and I, but, one of the analogies for the times we're in now, especially 2020, was taken off a scab, Black Lives Matter, and all the pus oozing out. And we also talked about maybe having something still down in that wound.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not healing well. There's like some, something we got to dig out of there in order for that wound to heal. So it feels kind of, with Venus going over Pluto 3 times, December 11th, 2021, December 29th, 2021, and then in March 3rd, I believe, 2022. That I think that you're right about the salve. Maybe we can start to actually heal the wound. Maybe enough has come out and up that the wound can begin to heal.
That'd be nice.
That would feel really helpful, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how we get rid of the cause of the wound. That seems much deeper, and I don't want to go into politics. So
yeah, let's avoid it for the moment.
Avoid that for the moment, at least, anyway. But Venus is real interesting, and it's going to color the entire month of January, and is very much a part of, everything we're dealing with right now is Venus focused, I think, in a big way.
Yeah. So what would it be for different houses? Like you and I have opposite houses. So it's my 10th house and your 4th house?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So for because you're Aries rising and I'm Libra rising, so we're both getting kind of opposite ends of that spectrum. So I would say for the 10th house, that the wound is in the area of career and spotlight, what we do out in the public.
Yeah.
So for you, it's healing that area.
Yeah.
Healing the balm is to heal the wound that's from that area.
Right. And the last time that Venus did this in Capricorn was 2008.
Right.
Correct? Yeah. Okay.
So it's 8-year increments for Venus.
Yeah.
And it paints this 5-pointed star in the sky as it goes, as it, as it hits all these points. So it's very interesting.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So
So
what
for
about
me,
the other houses? Yeah, for you.
yeah, for me in the 4th house, that's home family, or deep subconscious. So healing those areas. Oh, I'm sorry. I got laughter going on. Hang on a sec.
The 4th house would be home and family. Say your Taurus rising, it would be your 9th house.
Right. So then we'd be talking about your things having
Intellect,
to-
your spiritual.
right. When we think about things that are education, higher education, or things that interact with the public in a different way than the 10th house, not like your career house, but more with an interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So, publishing is in that area. Anything having to do with, writing, getting words out to people is in that area because it's communication with larger groups of people.
Yeah, travel, exploration.
Travel, exploration, again, getting out, getting away, not just travel that's neighborhood, but travel, farther away, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry about my phone interruption. Forgive me.
All right. Okay, what about if you're like a Virgo rising?
Yeah, if you're Virgo rising, then you'd be in your
5th house.
5th house, and that's children or creative projects. 5th house has to do with things we birth, so again, that's why children and creative projects, but also your romantic love can be considered 5th house as well. And then if you are a Leo, well, I'm skipping over Libra, going the other direction.
Yeah, we're going backwards.
Yeah, going backwards here. So Leo, then it would be in your
6th house.
6th house.
Yeah.
So that's health, work, day-to-day activities. So who we skipped? We skipped the 11th house.
We skipped Cancer rising would be 7th house.
7th house, relationships, yeah. But relationships with anyone other, opposite of, it can be a business relationship as well as a personal relationship.
Right.
Significant others, or, anyone anybody who's significant in our life that we have a relationship with them fit in 7th house.
Right. Yeah, it's good to remember that not all relationships are romantic relationships. Like you don't have to prioritize romantic relationships for 7th house stuff.
Right. Exactly. We have a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
At least most of us do. We all have some relationship somewhere.
Yeah.
Even at home, we're on the phone with some tech person someplace. There's a relationship right there.
There are all kinds of relationships.
All kinds of relationships. And then 11th house has more to do with the wider public. Did we talk about that one?
No, that would be a Gemini rising. No. That would be what? It would be Pisces rising.
Pisces rising. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in the 11th house, if we're, if we have our wound in the 11th house, the Venus healing coming into the 11th house is talking about our experiences with friends in a bigger scale, rather than just really close personal friendships, but the friendships we have with groups, our group connections.
Yeah.
Connections with other people through our groups.
Unity engagements.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I think it is an interesting and helpful aspect to have Venus giving us the rub right here, going back and forth over Pluto and providing some interesting healing in this area of our lives. And Pluto's going to move out of that house, wherever we have that, for you and I, it'd be in the 7th and the 4th and the 10th, but whatever house you have that in, it's at the end of it. So
Yeah.
it's about to move on into the next area, giving whatever it is that you have been having the wound in is going to get some relief in the next couple years.
Yeah.
We're going to have some relief there. So that's a good thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we have is, we're just moving away from the square with Taurus and Saturn. And it's going to back off over the course of the next month or so. And
Yeah.
we'll have some relief. Then it's going to come very close again and be almost conjunct next fall, right before the election.
Uh-huh.
And then it will back off. And so the next, the election in the United States next October is probably going to be pretty intense with that square hitting. And probably I would expect it to be kind of a culmination of the polarization that we've had, not just in the United States, but everywhere over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And as that breaks away, I think that things will probably lighten up.
Right.
That's my hope.
Yeah, we're still in that, huh? Oh. Should we talk about the symbols for that?
Oh, do please.
Okay. So we had Saturn. Saturn is in Aquarius. During a silent hour, a man receives new inspiration, which may change his life. Is that right? Did I read that right?
I think so. Let me pull up our chart and take a look at it.
pull up the chart.
I'm going to share our screen here.
Yeah, that's right.
Take a look at that. I think it is. Scroll down to it. You're looking at which one now?
At the very bottom of the page, I'm looking at Saturn. It's labeled as Uranus, but it's Saturn Aquarius.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. That's supposed to be Saturn Aquarius.
During a silent hour, a man receives a new inspiration, which may change his life. And we're putting that in a square with Uranus at 11 Taurus, a woman watering flowers in her garden.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. What do you think?
I'm thinking back to the Aries new moon about the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. And now we've got the woman watering the flowers in the garden.
Yeah, there's some interesting symbolism there. You're right. Thank you for clearing up that we've got it's Saturn in Uranus, Saturn structure, Saturn, the stop sign, Saturn, the restriction, Saturn in that position of a man receiving new inspiration implies to me a pause, somebody who's is reflecting. That silent hour is sometimes imposed by Saturn. So it's very Saturnine, the whole symbolism of taking some time to reflect, and the inspiration, the new inspiration that comes, that's very Uranian.
Oh, good point. Yes.
And we get new inspiration from, sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking about meditation. It's such a symbol for the act of meditation, which I struggle with being disciplined about. But Saturn is such the disciplinarian. It is a very Saturnian symbol to sit down, clear your mind, make a silent hour, commit to it, be dedicated to it, and open up the space for the inspiration.
Exactly. But then there's an interesting way to see how the Saturn Uranus isn't always a depiction of something terrible.
No.
It can definitely be we can use the structure of Saturn to find our way forward and through new inspiration.
Yeah.
And watering a garden, well, that's where the nutrients come from that lets the new inspiration grow.
And flower.
That's right. And
yeah.
bloom into new things that we haven't thought of, very Uranian and some different things. But within a structure, because if you don't have the structure of Uranus, things, can't grow in the way that one would expect, right?
Yeah, it's a nice square, actually, now that I look at the symbols.
Yeah, where we're at with this at 11 degrees is pretty nice. And we're also, I think that it's kind of important to note that we are at a place in time where Uranus is stationing. It's been retrograde. It's the last holdback. All the other of the outer planets were retrograde. Remember, for a long time, everything was retrograde.
Yeah.
And starting at the end of last September, things started to roll forward, and Uranus is the last one. So with Uranus stationing, and that's the time when it's the closest to the Earth, so it's the most impactful on us. We feel it the most. So over the next month, we're gonna, have this Uranus turn, which is gonna mean it's essentially stand still. It's just gonna hang out right here for a while.
Is it gonna be 11 Taurus where it stations?
I think it goes back to 10 all the way to station.
Okay.
I think it goes one more degree back to 10, and then that's where we are, and then it's going to move on forward from there.
Okay.
That's where the station began all those many, many months ago. I want to say last May, but I'd have to look that up. So we've been in this for a very long time. But it's going to move forward. It's going to move forward. We are going to move beyond this. We are going to move beyond. But it's interesting because I've seen a lot of astrologers talk about when we move beyond COVID, since we're in a new peak. Oh, it didn't go away yet, did it? And I think
it was over in June of 2020.
Only if you took ivermectin. That's a joke. That's a joke. It looks like, astrologically, that we're not going to get beyond COVID until Saturn moves out of Aquarius. Saturn doesn't move out of Aquarius until 2023, March of 2023.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we're going to really get beyond this until, I think we got another year of dealing with this disease.
Yeah, I mean, my super good friend who's a public health person told me at the start, she was like, these things take 3 years. That's just how it is.
Right.
If you look at the history of them and study their patterns, it's going to be 3 years.
Right. And it's interesting. We've had so little feedback from, I'm sure there is feedback on the internet. I have seen very little information from immunologists that are really, that talk in a non-emotional way about how these kinds of things work. But the new Omicron seems very positive because everybody's going to get it. And it doesn't put most people in the hospital. So it's probably the one that will get the people that were the holdouts against the vaccine, so that everybody will actually be inoculated, allowing us to reach herd immunity and allowing us to get rid of it. Because from what I understand of immunology, until 75 to 80% of the people are inoculated, there's no way we'll get rid of it because it just keeps mutating. We just keep getting more variants.
Well,
so
we may
never way to reach immunity.
We may never get rid of it. We've never gotten rid of the cold, and we've never gotten rid of the flu.
True.
They just keep adapting because that's how evolution works.
True. And we have gotten rid of some things. I mean, we did get rid of polio.
Yeah.
We did mostly get rid of smallpox through vaccines. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's possible that we could get rid of this, or at least turn it into a cold. Turn it into something that's mostly manageable. Again, because it loses its virility, it loses its deadliness.
Right. I'm looking forward to the year in the future where it is only 60,000 deaths like the flu.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of the best we can hope for at this point.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But right now we're not there. It's pretty funky right now.
We're not there right now.
And we've got another final year of Saturn in Aquarius with no Jupiter.
Oh no.
No Jupiter.
Jupiter in Pisces is nice.
Jupiter in Pisces is lovely.
Yeah.
That's right. So we do have some amelioration there, but as far as the COVID goes, Saturn's in there doing its thing, creating restrictions for the people.
Right.
And that's why I and a lot of other astrologers think that, yeah, it's as long as it's restricting the people, it won't be until it moves into the next area, which will be Pisces, and then we'll see what happens.
So what can we expect with Jupiter moving into Pisces, which just started last week?
Joy. How about that? Well, maybe bigger illusion, because we've got Neptune in Pisces, Neptune at home in Pisces. So
Okay.
it's possible we're going to get a big dream.
Big dream.
A big dream could lead to a bubble burst, but it's also it's a very nice placement for Jupiter.
Yeah.
Jupiter is exalted in Pisces, and Neptune is at home in Pisces. So my hope is that I'll get some really good creative writing done.
Oh yeah. Creative times.
Yeah, composers, depending on what house it falls in, because Jupiter does make things bigger, and it's the big benefic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's conjunct there with, or going to be conjunct sometime soon with Neptune. We're going to get a pretty nice configuration there that I think will be a blessing in a big way.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Though I have some good friends who have Pisces moons. And so I'm wondering, like, what happens for a Pisces moon when Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces? It's just like amplifying your emotions and making those already dreamy folks extra dreamy.
Right. One could be inspired to like do something really cool or do something really stupid. That you think is cool. You think it's cool. Later on, after Jupiter moves beyond Neptune, you might go, whoa, why did I think I could fly? I don't. Let me scroll up here a little bit. Let's look at our symbolism, and then I'm going to move away from our chart so we don't just leave it here. I always forget it's here. We are looking at, it's January 2nd today, 2022. Gosh, I need an editor. It's the new moon in Capricorn at 11, 12 degrees. And this new moon requires perhaps some prudent restructuring in the house of your life that this falls in. Prudent because, we've got the Saturn square with Uranus. So prudent Saturn, restructuring Uranus. We've also got prudent Capricorn.
Yeah.
And the Venus restructuring. So that's where I kind of get prudent restructuring. Here's it's a cautious sort of thing.
What's the symbol for 12 Capricorn?
Yeah, what is 12 Capricorn?
I don't remember.
I think it's
I have it right here. No, I know.
The illustrated lecture on natural science reveals little known aspects of life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Revelations then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like it with the Red Cross nurse.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about, maybe we'll all get some, insight into how this bug is transferring, and we'll be able to fix it.
Or we just need to keep being nurses.
Right. Helping each other out.
Yeah. Recognize we're in that crisis mode still in an emergency. You still need the Red Cross nurse.
Yeah, we still need the Red Cross nurse. So again, in Capricorn, this is a productive moon. It's practical. It's governmental. It focuses on things that are, at the larger level of structure. It's prudent. It's cautious. It's earthy. It's also new initiatives because it's a cardinal sign and it's very earthy.
Yeah, we forget about those cardinal signs. We forget to talk about that sometimes.
Yeah, this is a change place.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than a place of stagnation. And we know it's a change place because it's trying Uranus. So, Uranus is surprise, explosion, rebellion, technology. Trine is a good configuration. Here we've got an opportunity. You buy a lottery ticket. Maybe you can buy a new house.
Yeah, it's very initiatory.
Very initiatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think about these other things you want to talk about having to do with the meanings of these?
Well, an illustrated lecture on natural science reveals little known aspects of life. And then I've got Saturn encouraging us to be meditative. Some sort of revelation. The illustrated part is interesting. Like lectures aren't necessarily illustrated, but I like that. So there's some sort of visual thing. And with Jupiter in Pisces, I wonder if we could be very visual in our meditations and make space for the illustrated. You know, like what kinds of visions come up in your intention settings. I'm assuming people do intention setting meditative things on new moons, like we should.
Recommended, and this, particularly this new moon. I mean, this is a good time. Typically, we set our New Year's resolutions at this time of year, and this is actually a good time to set a resolution. It's a great time to set an intention.
Always the new moon, but especially because it's this new moon that's like an illustrated revelation in a silent hour of meditation, revealing new insights. There's like multiple revelations happening within the Sabian symbols.
Exactly so. And it looks like we've got a trine. I'm going to come back up here again to this a little bit. I didn't put it in here, but I think we've got a trine over here to Chiron. At least a loose trine to Chiron with this
That's
new
a
moon.
square. That would be a square.
Yeah, sorry, a loose square to Chiron here, which could be involving in a part of that turning the corner.
Right. There's also a trine between Mercury and the North Node.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. I knew there was another trine in here that I hadn't put on there. Yeah, Mercury and the North Node. Right, here's our Mercury. And here's our North Node down here. So that's interesting as well, because Mercury's right at the cusp of Aquarius. That's going into the house again of the people, and it's probably going to, I would say, having Mercury in there with Saturn, we're going to have a lot of talk about this restriction. About the restriction of the people.
Yeah. Or it's closer to the Venus-Pluto conjunction. So whatever messages are coming through Mercury-wise, trining the North Node, which is like where you're headed, might have more to do with that Saturn-Pluto resurrection.
Yeah, Mercury is just going into shadow. I agree. I think that we had a whole bunch of Mercury, Venus, Pluto revelations. We just had the Ghislaine Maxwell verdict.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Tell me, what isn't more Mercury, Pluto, Venus than that?
Right. If only they would not seal everything. Oh.
Yeah. But we just got a revelation there. I mean, there was just talk about something very Plutonic having to do with Venus, right? So there's some other stories, in the news that really speak to this Mercury. But we're moving now into, Mercury is going to not connect with Saturn.
No, yeah, it goes retrograde first,
right?
And then it goes back through Capricorn.
So we're not done with the story of Venus and Pluto yet. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's going to go up and it's going to go up like, hi, Saturn. Oops. Back over here.
Wait, I gotta go see Venus and Pluto again. Although I don't think it actually matches up with Venus again. I looked that up last night.
Right, it goes back over Pluto again, but I'm not sure how far back, because Venus is also still retrograde.
Yeah, Venus retrograde's almost all the way back to where the sun is right now.
Exactly.
Where it starts to head off again. Yeah, they don't meet up again, Venus and Mercury. But Mercury and Pluto will. Yeah.
Right. So we got Mercury out there telling us some stories about deep, dark secrets having to do with women. And that's going to continue for some weeks here. And then it will hit the structure of Saturn and talk about, again, probably restrictions having to do with people.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a discussion there. and then it's going to move beyond that. And so I'm not sure when Mercury clears its shadow, it's going to be on in March as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So March and Venus are both going to be moving forward, but Mercury and Venus will both start moving forward, but I don't think it'll be till March.
Oh, let's look at can I just tell you real quick the symbols for the North Node and Mercury?
Please.
So Mercury at 0 Aquarius is an old Adobe mission. But Gemini North Node is a glass-bottomed boat reveals undersea wonders.
Ooh, is that where Pluto is?
No, that's the North Node.
That's the North Node. Reveals undersea wonders. Ooh, that's interesting. What interpretation do you put on that?
It feels like it links back up to Pluto and the wealth from the deep and the things that are in the shadows and hidden
and also some revelation.
Yeah, more revelations.
Revelation, yeah.
Like a tripod of revelations in this new moon chart.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating.
The silent hour.
Exactly. And let me scroll down a little bit because there was one other thing I wanted to mention here. We talked about the Venus-Pluto conjunction.
Yeah.
And the Uranus square Saturn. What was the other one I thought that was important? I think it was just that we've got the new moon itself is in that positive configuration with Uranus, as well as like you said, the Mercury in positive configuration with the North Node.
Right.
And those two things together bode well for the future.
They do. And the symbolism itself between the square of Saturn and Uranus is nice as well.
Exactly. And let's look at that one more time, and then I'm going to move away from our chart. And that's that illustrated lecture on science reveals little known aspects.
Well, that's the moon.
Oh, sorry, that's the moon. The watering flowers.
Yeah, the watering flowers and the silent hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And we still have the Venus conjunction. Let's look at those aspects before we move on.
Okay.
22 Cap.
By accepting gracefully, a general reveals nobility of character. And a store filled with precious Oriental rugs.
So we've had both of those before.
Yeah.
I really like the Oriental rugs because that feels very a nice structure, the kind of structure you want to keep you safe and comfortable.
Yeah, beauty and comfort.
Definitely.
And like an ancestral skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. And how do you think these work together? What do you think about their combination?
Ooh. It seems like it might, I'm focusing on the like accepting defeat and like losing some sort of battle, but moving on.
Uh-huh.
And we are in a time of great loss.
Feels like it may have something to do with the revelation that's coming.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe there's going to be some new information that gives us all an aha moment.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. I do remember the other configuration I wanted to look at.
Okay.
Which I didn't put on here as well, but we can see it. And you said Jupiter in the North Node. It's Jupiter in the South Node. We've got a T-square right here.
Oh.
With Jupiter.
It's 0 Pisces.
Yeah. So
that's 0 Pisces is.
That's pretty fascinating.
T-square between Jupiter and the North and the nodes.
Yeah.
I got my little sheet book. Oh, a crowded public marketplace.
That's the meaning of 0 Aquarius?
It's Pisces.
0 Pisces?
Yeah.
A crowded marketplace?
A crowded public marketplace.
Yikes.
Somewhere I'm not going anytime soon.
Yeah, a T-square between the past of the South Node and the future of the North Node. And right in between is a bigger symbol that says a crowded public marketplace. Stay away from a crowded public marketplace, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. You're better off on a glass bottom boat.
You're better off on a glass bottom boat. But this is an interesting configuration.
Or on a Persian rug and a silent hour.
I like to be. I really like that Persian rug. Yeah. But we have here's an opportunity to lose to win.
Oh, explain.
Let go of something with the South Node to gain something with the North Node.
It's true.
Jupiter's are
so hard.
Jupiter is the planet of luck.
Yeah. Okay.
Jupiter is the big benefic.
Okay.
If we could let go of something, maybe it's pride, then in the future, we may open up to a better possibility. I mean, we've talked about COVID stuff a little bit. You know, if I let go of my pride and said, I don't think I'm going to go get me some better masks, protect myself a little bit better, I might have a better opportunity for a better future. I mean, that's a simple thing, but
yeah,
make sure I'm vaxxed, double vaxxed, triple vaxxed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility there, but there's a whole lot of other things I could point. Maybe it's a good time to gamble, throw some money away to gain some.
Does letting go need to be like, okay, how can we think of this in houses so people can know what to let go of? Are we letting go of Sagittarius? Is that what we need to let go of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Letting go of, you know, Sagittarius is complicated. We want to aim for what's simple.
So my Sagittarius is the 9th house.
So yeah, letting go again of
beliefs.
Yeah, perhaps beliefs, or maybe you don't want to travel after all.
Oh no.
Let go of that trip.
No. I really want to go to Mexico this summer for my friend's wedding.
Maybe it's let go of the trip to have a better something else in the future.
Okay, well, it's a better idea to like let go of the idea of traveling this year, as opposed to like let go of any of my identity as an intellectual or anything like that, or spiritual beliefs. Although I don't know that I have many beliefs.
Now mine is in my 3rd house, so that's more of like let go of all the little trips I like to take.
Oh,
but that's short. That's little travel, right? That's like siblings. That's like traveling around your town. And I'm a little. I like to run around, zip around. I always feel really confined when I have to get a little bit closer in. I have to like get in my writing mode and meditative mode and go down in, which this is a good time of year for.
Yeah.
So that's 9th and 3rd house.
Right.
If it's say in your 4th house, if this letting go,
Virgo rising and it's your 4th house. Okay.
Virgo rising and it's your 4th house, then you're letting go of something in your home and family to gain something in your career.
Oh, because you're gaining something in the North Node. Right. Okay.
And if it's Leo, you're letting go of something in the
5th house.
In the 5th house, you know, something creative, some creative project, or, you know, something to do with, you know, time with children or something, to gain something in the 11th house of more time with friends or groups. Right. And if it's Gemini, and then it's going to be Pisces, you're letting go of something having to do with work or health to gain something in the 12th house.
Right.
12th house meaning, you know, your inner psychology, or your, you know, the place that's maybe where you percolate things. New things come from that later because you're, you know, the place of growth, underground growth, if you will. And then if it's in Aries and Libra, wait a minute, I lost my houses.
If Taurus is your 1st house.
If Taurus is your 1st house, that's right. Then we would be talking about letting go of something in having to do with your
8th house.
8th house of regeneration, death, taxes, other people's money, so that you have your own money.
Yeah.
In the 2nd house,
Right.
your own independence and 2nd house money there. Did we get them all? We miss somebody?
Well, I mean, we didn't do the other half. So like if you're a Scorpio rising and it's in your 2nd house that you need to let go of something.
Right, then it's flipped completely from what we just said, right? It's letting go of the
Of your own money so you can have more of other people's.
exactly. How would that work? Okay, that's interesting. Spending your own money on something that benefits other people so that they pay you or something.
Oh yeah. Maybe. Or maybe, oh, I could see this. If you cling to an idea of needing to be totally self-sufficient and self-supportive, if you can let go of some of that conception to move
from other
towards
people's.
an idea of like being cared for and being supported by others.
Yeah, very good. Excellent.
So there you go, you Scorpio rising people.
That's right. Scorpio rising.
The great T-square for you.
The great T-square for the Scorpio risings. Sure is.
Accept
Bathe me in other people's money.
accept the abundance from others and not only rely on yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. But overall, you know, it's interesting. And again, we've got some real positive configuration. And I mean, Jupiter, to be in a T-square with anything, give me Jupiter. Right? I mean, Jupiter's just showing that we've got this fulcrum point between the past and the future.
Oh, that's great.
And what's on the fulcrum point is the big benefic. That's saying, choose what direction you're going to go in. Let go of something so that you can have a brighter tomorrow. I'm going to stop our share for a second here.
Okay.
So
I like that though. That was fun. Okay. So if I'm Aries rising, I need to let go of, what did we say I was letting go of in Sagittarius in my 9th house?
Right.
Travel.
Letting go of travel.
Letting go of far travel so that maybe I can do a little bit more like local travel. Okay, I have to get rid
closer
of
to your sisters
about going to Oaxaca and just spend more time. Like I'll just be in the Ozarks instead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep, little travel instead of big travel. Running errands.
I can do it another year. I can do it. I can manage another year.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. You know, there's always another way of looking at these symbols.
For sure.
But there's, you know, the astrology has been pretty spot on the last couple of years.
It has. It usually is.
It's, yeah, I mean, through these big times where there's really like, wow, you can point to that happening on that date, like the, you know, scorpions in Egypt overrunning everybody and the mice in New York. I mean, there's astrological symbolism that predicts these things. That's a little unnerving. I'm not sure predict is the right word. Reflects what's happening.
Reflects. Like, where were you 8 years ago, the last time that Saturn was, or that Venus was retrograde in Capricorn?
Yeah, where was I?
Think about.
Yeah, where were you?
So it would have been the winter of 2013. I just finished my PhD and was moving out of a summer camp in the woods into a house in a tiny town in the woods, and like basically my life had fallen apart. I like finished this huge career thing of like being in school for forever and earning the credentials, and then like everything disintegrated.
That's so interesting. But you went on to something new.
Yeah. Life forced me onto new things.
Right.
And they've been good. It's been good.
Yeah, in the winter of 2013, beginning of 2014, I had left a position that had offered me to stay.
Yeah.
To pursue publishing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was it was an interesting time because it was such a leap of faith, which it sounds to me, it was very similar emotionally, I think, to, you know, ending your degree,
Yeah.
finally finishing your degree, because it's such a, graduation is like retirement. I had a friend who retired from the university. I said, oh, you finally get to graduate.
Yeah, right.
Because you're leaving, you get to have a fond farewell, you get to think of good memories, but you're kind of like catapulted into you don't know what. At least most people, you know, don't have a great idea of what.
Yeah, for sure. And it is a leap of faith. It's like, okay, there's a hard line here where like one path has ended.
It seems like a really good time to have that meditation, and the consideration is about Venus. Venus and Uranus specifically. You know, what do you really value? What are your highest values? Looking at what you're willing to let go of, that South Node, and what you hope the future will bring, the North Node, and realizing that the change is possible.
Yeah.
Because the change is coming.
Yeah.
The
So
change
which flowers in your garden, because we started the year off with this garden of desires, like which flowers are you going to make sure you nourish enough to see them bloom?
Right. There may not be room in that container for all those flowers. We might have to do a little pruning.
Yeah.
A little pruning to make sure that what we really want to grow grows. But I think there's some great opportunity with this, and especially if we have the fortitude to deal with what the restrictions are still.
Right.
And continuing. And there'll probably be plenty of opportunity to talk about those restrictions in the near future.
Yeah. I'm sure there will be.
Final thoughts on any of this?
Oh, I don't know. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sitting in the cold. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, go make snow angels. Think happy, big Neptunian thoughts.
Dreamy.
Yeah, keep your Jupiter, Neptune positive.
Right.
And fortitude.
Find some comfort on those rugs.
That's right. Find some company on that beautiful Oriental rug. Well, thanks for helping me unpack the beginning of this new year, Kat.
Yeah, it's always a good time, Micki.
We'll see you on the full moon, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.